Welcome everyone, Happy New Year. This is our NBL and Lynch preview show. Welcome. My name's Chris Hughes. I'm from Rebound, hosting tonight's show. I've got to my left as you're watching Josh Moore from Essex Rebels and Flynn Borman Rafe in red from BA London Lions. Welcome guys and happy evening and happy New Year to you both. Hope you're both well.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
I say last week I thought the season started last weekend, back from Christmas break, but I thought, no, it's this weekend. And then as the week on, one after another games postponed. But you guys, you've got a game. That's something for me to look forward to. How's training been? Let's start with you, Flynn. Obviously, it's been a while since we had you on the show. What have we missed since we last saw you?
We've just got back to training ever since we've been allowed to after the Christmas break, and it's been good. It's been really competitive actually. We've had the guys did a great job of staying in shape over Christmas because I know it can be easy to just eat and not do anything and have too much of a break. But I feel like we all did a good job, and it showed in practice that we were really working over Christmas, regardless of if we were playing or not.
And Josh, same for you. When did you guys get back to training? Because you, as a team, took the decision not to play mid when everyone else was, but now you're back. Has it been a bit of stop and start, or have you been training between? Give us a little bit of insight of what's been going on at Essex.
Yeah, so obviously we kind of keep safety first. We think about the players definitely before we play games, before training. We make sure our players are tested. But training now, I think guys are just hungry, like they're itching to play. And you can really see that in training. Because we did a bit of training before Christmas, and then we came back after Christmas, and guys still had that hunger. Guys are ready to play. So it was really nice to see. So training's been really competitive.
And I imagine you're hungry too, Flynn. For people watching who may not saw the last time Flynn was on, it was his last game versus Loughborough, which they got the win. And I had Flynn on, and he was a great guest. He didn't give anything away. And when I went to watch the game itself, I was like, where's Flynn? I don't want to show you yesterday. Where's he? And he was, let us know what happened, Flynn.
Yeah, no, I had got injured a couple of days before that game, and I just didn't want to say anything. I spoke to coach and he said not to say anything, but they didn't need me. They got the win anyway. They played really well, and now I'm back fine. So yeah, I'm not just saying that, and I'm not going to play tomorrow. Like I haven't played tomorrow. So yeah, no, I'm all good.
Yeah, I totally understand. I'm sure it's part of the scouting report to watch this preview show to find out what's going on. If you're new to the channel, obviously like to subscribe, UpStreamedia to do some great work. Be sure to stay to the end. Lots of exclusives to reveal at the end of the show. Josh, I definitely get that you guys are hungry to play. It's been a while. I think the Lynch game was the last one. In terms of intensity, because obviously that Lynch Trophy Day tournament was to build up the intensity. What have you guys been doing specifically in recent weeks to make sure you're ready for tomorrow?
I think obviously when you don't play in so long, a lot of plays can slip your head, and it's kind of hard to kind of stay locked into what we're focusing on doing. So I think in preparation to kind of playing after not playing for so long, we've just been covering a lot of plays, and just making sure that we're really looking at the finer details, because there's obviously running a play is one thing, but then to run it crisp and to look at different reads is a completely different thing. So we just kind of make sure that everyone's still on the same page. So yeah.
And I imagine you've had time to build the chemistry on and off the court. Some of the guys maybe not as experienced in NBL D1. Have you watched much tape, or is it more just about building that chemistry?
Yeah, so obviously, I think Division One, from the jump from Division Two to Division One, it's a big jump. It really is, and in terms of building chemistry, I think it was already kind of solidified in Division Two. When we won the league, it was quite solidified. So coming into Division One, that wasn't really a problem. I think we're just kind of focusing now on just kind of making slight readjustments to kind of how we run, because obviously in Division One, guys are a lot more crisp. I think more experienced as well. So I think it's just kind of refining the details of really keeping up with these guys.
And Flynn, obviously, save for yourself to some extent, maybe a shorter gap from that left the 91-86 win. What were some of the things, I know you weren't playing, but what were some of the things that you wanted to take from that game? Maybe work a bit harder on, or things to fine tune? Was there lots to take from that win?
Yeah, there definitely was lots to take from it. I feel like we did I'll start from the beginning. We didn't have the greatest first half, and we knew that at halftime when we spoke about it. I think we were down by 15 at the half, and I think sometimes it can get very technical and tactical about what we have to do. But at the end of the day, the guys just showed how much we wanted to win, and that's what got us back into the game. It wasn't the fact that we were technically doing well, we were tactically like it wasn't to do with any of that. It was to do with just how much we wanted it, and we showed that in the third quarter and fourth. And that's what fueled the comeback to win. And we really proved to ourselves that as a team we can go through adversity and still not let it affect us and come out on top.
And obviously, looking a little bit further back, you guys actually already played each other, as mentioned in the Lynch Trophy. Flynn, what do you remember from that game specifically? I know it's almost like 3 months. That feels like years ago. But
Yeah,
what do you remember from that
yeah.
game with them?
No, I remember that game it was very competitive. I don't think we hadn't played in a while, well, in 2 weeks, because I think the Worthing game got cancelled before, if I'm
Yep.
correct. I can't remember, but I remember that. Yeah, it was a competitive game. I loved it. Their guys are very competitive, and when we were going back and forth, it was great. They had some of their guys really impressed us, and that's what we're looking to do in the scout. Just stick to the same things. But it was a really competitive game and a really enjoyable game to watch as well when I watched it back.
Yeah, it was very close. People watching, I think it was 86-74 to Barton or BA London Lions. So now known. Josh, from that game, what were some of the things coach said but maybe you didn't do so well, maybe sort of fine tuned? So it was a really close, entertaining game, even though the score wasn't as close maybe the game was.
Yeah, so obviously, unfortunately, I couldn't actually be there. I was dealing with an injury at the time. So obviously, I was watching and supporting from home. Um, but obviously, from watching it, you can kind of tell on what kind of needed to be worked on. I think Barking Abbey or London Lions, you guys are a really explosive team. You guys really get on the boards hard, and I think that was probably one of the factors of why we lost the game. I think, as Flynn said, it was competitive. Going back and forth, but I think ultimately, whatever team wins the rebound battle is going to win the game. And I think and they showed that. So yeah.
And some of the games in the Lynch had that sort of end-to-end bit, maybe a bit rusty. Do you think this game will be a similar style to that one, or do you think it'll be different? I'll start with you, Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, I think these type of games when you come back after a long break, they're just scrappy. I think so. I'm expecting it to be quite scrappy. I'm expecting it. Maybe shots might not fall as much, but that guys are gonna be working hard on defense. Grabbing boards, locking up their guys. So I think we're not too sure about how many shots are gonna drop and whatnot, but. One thing we're certain of is that guys are gonna work hard, and we're gonna be scrappy. You're gonna really get after it.
Glenn, do you think that's a fair assessment with both you guys a little,
Yeah, no,
sort of
100%,
rusty?
100%.
Yeah,
I feel like we're further on into the season, even though there's been breaks in certain weeks where we haven't been playing. I think the one thing that won't change is the fact that we both teams want to win and will do whatever it takes to do so. So I feel like whether we were coming back, like the last game, we were coming back from a very, very long wait to play. And we may have been a bit rusty. Some shots may not have been dropping, but I feel like both teams did a great job, and I think we'll do tomorrow of just keeping it competitive and keeping it entertaining. I know we want it in training. We've been keeping it very competitive, which has been good to see after a break. So we're eager to go, and I'm sure they are too.
and let's say when I get guests, I always like to get a bit more insight. I feel there's not enough coverage on the NBL. Josh, without giving away too much of what goes on in training, what have been some of the highlights for you? Maybe like an interesting battle in training or so not don't. What are some of the the funny moments of training the last few weeks, but sort of stay on the WhatsApp chat for a bit longer when the session ends.
Everyone knows about the WhatsApp group chat. Uh, but I just think training's been really fun. I think obviously trying to get back into shape, you want to get up and down. So I think that aspect of the game, as much as you want to focus on the finer details, we all love just getting up and down. I'm sure the same with Flynn and his team. They want to get up and down and play. But I think with us, I think we're just very competitive people. So after training, we'll always lace up and play some ones, and that can get quite back and forth, and there's some friendly rivalries there as well. But it makes us better, it makes us better because we're able to kind of obviously it helps with our fitness, but we really just want to win and we want to beat that person, and I think that kind of competitive energy it shows off in games as well. So something
Who
as
has
small
like
as one,
yep.
what I mean, it still has plays a big impact in games.
And who out of the guys has the biggest rivalry, sort of gets the biggest audience when they take each other on?
That's hard because we have a lot of good players. I don't want to say any names, but guys get worked. I don't want to say any names, but I think probably the biggest rivalry probably has to be Jordan Gray and Tom Charles. I think he had him on the show earlier on.
Yeah.
Because they're just two explosive guards, and Tom is quite crafty as a point, and then Jordan's more explosive. So they really go at it against each other. And they might talk a bit to each other as well, which makes it more entertaining. So I'm just there with my popcorn. I'm just watching.
I love those popcorn moments. I say sometimes I see some on
Yeah,
Twitter. I think I want to say popcorn moment. I thought actually I'm a brand here. It's probably not PC. I'm not like Tom Bollocks up
yeah,
exploding with the tweets and
yeah.
things like that. Try not to. What about you, Flynn? What's some interesting rivalries in your camp, and what's been going down in training this week?
Firstly, I think it was great to get back after the Christmas break. I know that after the first week of not practicing consistently because we've gone into the break, first couple of days I was eager to get back into competitive like indoor basketball. Yeah, training's been fun, just as we said it would be before coming back. Both teams at the beginning of every practice we get split into two teams, and then that's when it gets competitive. The minute we step on the floor and those teams are made and there's two colours, we're ready to go, and we're really keeping it competitive. So yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
And do you guys have like little post training sessions, one on one, sort of keep things fresh out of
We
the fitness?
do. Yeah, we do. Sometimes we don't play one on one as much as we want to, especially towards like the end of the week, just because we want to stay. We don't want any silly injuries, or we don't want to silly injuries before the game. But we do some one on one drills, and when guys are watching, they're making noise on the side, and the whole intensity is just very lit. Like we whenever something big happens, the gym goes crazy. We do a great job of making an empty gym loud like a stadium. So and that just comes from the young, hungry intensity that we have. So yeah,
I know I just like goosebumps waiting and say for some reason I thought last weekend the NBL was back, and I was like, nope, it's this weekend, and at least we've got a game on. It's got you guys on, and it's gonna be on Essex Rebels YouTube channel. But it's the games at Barking, so be sure to tune in. I think
Yeah.
I'll try to find a link, but it'll be a link on tomorrow from Essex Rebels YouTube page. Usually at this point, I sort of get the guests to sort of talk through the other games, but there's no other NBL games
yeah.
such. But we've got a Lynch game, haven't we? We've got Derby versus Worthing as in the
So
quarterfinals. Flynn, what's your Josh? You want to go?
no, go on, Flynn, go on.
Oh yeah. It's a tough game. I know that they played late last year as well, and I think Derby came out on top. But honestly, we played our last game of the year was against Worthing, and they have great guys. Obviously, Cam, Zaire, Tom Ward. Like they have a bunch of great guys, and but then so did Derby. That's why I'm so confused. Oh, I really don't know. I feel like even though Derby came out with the win last time, I feel like it really could go either way. Obviously, Derby have Blake, they have Malcolm Smith, they have these big names, but so do Worthing. So, and like I said previously, I get it will just go down to the team that wants it more and that I don't know hits more shots on the day. But in terms of prediction, I'm really not sure. I'm gonna go with Worthing. I think Cam and Zion, the rest of them will really. I reckon they'll pull through.
Josh, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, as Flynn said, that's a tough game. Honestly, it can definitely go both ways. Um, if I were to pick one, obviously we've only played against Worthing. We've only matched up against them, so I can't. Obviously, not playing against both teams, I can't really put a fair judgment in. But watching Derby's game, they're explosive. Especially that Blake as well. He's really talented. But then Worthing also have a lot of talent there as well. Um, I'm gonna go with Worthing. I'm gonna go with Worthing as well. I think after playing against them, and with the experience with Zaya Taylor, and he's a vet, and he kind of knows how to weather the storm. Because there's definitely gonna be a storm in that game, so it's gonna be really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been amazing game. And Flynn, you were saying about your last year. I thought that was a really good game against Worthing, Lynch, and that went down to the last few minutes. I think this one will have the same sort of thing. You've got a lot of guys similar level ability. Cam versus Blake Bowman, which we mentioned, and then Malcolm Smith and the big guy Howard Crawford. But then you've got shooters around them like Max Richardson, Josh Udemy. One player really impressive is Walled Iberia, and I think maybe Derby might edge it with the bench, and obviously having that 1-0 head-to-head already. Obviously, I think that was the game outside got fouled out in 9 minutes or something. So it was
Yeah.
a explosive
Mm.
game. But going back to that Lynch game, because you say you played them already, Flynn. What was that game like? And did it almost run away with you? Because you guys had, I think you had the lead until the last few minutes. What did Worthing do so well to take it away for you guys?
It was that game really really annoyed us. We really really wanted to win that game, and that's part of the fuel for tomorrow as well. Was the fact that we lost our last game of the year. We wanted to leave 2010 with the bang. We wanted to win that game. Yeah, I feel like we did a good job early on. We obviously we scouted Cam and all the guys they had, and I feel like we did a good job on Cam. He did get into some foul trouble, and I think he ended up getting fouled out. But yeah, I mean, we did. I think we played well for the majority of the game, but when it came down the stretch into the last couple minutes of the game, we didn't make the best decisions. And they hit shots, and that's just how it's crazy how within basketball the game's really not over until it's done, because you can be up by a certain amount, but there's a couple silly turnovers and they hit shots and the game gets flipped on its head. So yeah, I feel they did a really good job of just staying clutch. I know Zaire was unstoppable. He played really well, especially in the last quarter. But yeah, it was just definitely a learning process for us, because we're a young team. So it was good. It was good to see. I think it was good, especially for the younger guys on our team, to see that a game is not done until it's done, and we need to be more clinical in those situations. So it was definitely a learning curve for us.
And I know we checked earlier up popcorn moments. I was actually watching that game, and credit to Worthing fan for filming it, but when they filmed it, it was right by the Worthing bench, so you literally heard everything.
Yeah.
And there were a few moments when maybe Cam and Ish got fouled out, and well, there was words spoken. Leave it at that. But Josh, I thought actually in the L Lynch game yourself, you guys did a good game. What did Worthing do but sort of just trumped you guys? So that was actually quite a close game as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a frustrating game. I think that's a game that you really wish you can go back on and and change a few things. I think because we were tied. I'm pretty sure we were tied by the half. So we kind of went and we expected to win. I think we went in and we really kind of wanted to be clinical. But I think we let them play to their strengths, and I think when you let a team do that, it's going to be very hard to win. And I think you know obviously when we play them again, hopefully, we're going to focus more on shutting down those strengths. And it did go back and forth as well, which was fun. I mean, I think that's probably why we love the game so much. Is because you never know which way it can go, and because it was going back and forth so much, it was fun to be a part of. It really was. But I think next time we play them, we just have to focus on taking away their strengths. And yeah,
I think that's a really fair assessment. I mean, from observer of that Solent hub, I've called it bubble. It's not a bubble, so obviously you guys aren't there 24/7. I thought it was really exciting. I think every game, even the ones involved with Solent, you didn't know which way we were going. Barking, you guys gave a good game. Essex, I know that Essex so they maybe the least closest, but there were points in there where you guys had an edge. You made them take tricky shots. I think the matchup for your bid with Travis, that was probably one of the best heads up in terms of that group, in terms of stopping Solent. One thing for me is an outsider looking in, and you guys probably know playing, and it's a very competitive year this year, and you sort of said that with Worthing may cut down their strengths, but when you've got such a competitive lead, where every game is almost like a 6 point, if you want to coin that football term, what's the most important way in that situation? Because you're all quite similar. I think any team to be 5th to 8th is a very competitive lead. I started Flynn. What do you do in a situation where every game's a competitive game?
I feel like when every game is competitive, that's the only way that we get better as a team. We want the competition. We want the chip. Like we just want to compete as a team. So when every game is competitive, it really does fuel us, especially with losses. When we lose a competitive game, the great thing to see and the great thing to take away from those games as a team is that we just want to lace up again and win. Like we just want to get straight back on the court. So I feel like with competitive games, it's just great when the gym's loud, even though there's no spectators or fans. I feel like especially in the games we've played in, regardless of if there's fans or not, we've made the gym loud, both teams. So I feel like competing in competitive games it's been great, especially it sets a standard for Division One, and it sets a standard for us as a team. So yeah.
Anything you'd like to add, Josh?
yeah. Well, what Finn's saying, he's right. I just think playing in a competitive game, every game, I think it just holds you to a higher standard. That you can't take your foot off the gas pedal in going into each game. You really have to hold yourself accountable. That each play is important. So I think that's a big thing. And realistically, nobody wants to, win a game by 30 or 40. Like, whether you're watching it, whether you're playing it, you want a game to be competitive. You thrive with that. So, exactly what Flynn's saying. I think you just want to be a part of those games.
Definitely hoping now. I think we talked a bit off air how these lockdowns one after another it sort of drains you a bit, but we do get a sense we're coming to end light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully there'll be more games towards the end of the season, maybe have playoffs or something. It's only quite tricky how to be circumnavigated. I think they've said they've taken a little time out to sort of think the best way forward, but I kind of think at the same time nothing's really changed since the start. You had the opt out. We knew this window's so bad. It's just about how things go forward. So people at home have a little patience, but I'm sure we're getting there. The factory's been rolled out, and hopefully to get more games, especially like the one we've got tomorrow. It was funny as I logged on this evening. Greeted Rupert, the producer, as I normally do, and I wanted to talk a bit about the BBL trophy draw. Rupert, a Thames Valley Cavaliers fan, I alerted him that his team were in the BBL trophy draw, and I thought maybe we'd talk a bit about that. So for people watching, I'll just quickly say the teams. It's split into two halves. The top half, you've got London Lions, Leicester Riders, Bristol Flyers versus Newcastle Eagles, Cheshire Phoenix versus Hemel Storm, Glasgow versus Reading, and then in the bottom half, you've got Worcester versus the Giants, Sheffield versus Plymouth, Surrey versus TBC, Derby versus Solent. From an NBL perspective, we've got 5 teams in it because of the lack of elite teams in Wales, Scotland. That's obviously Derby, Hemel, Reading, so at TBC. Flynn, I'll start with you. What do you think we could see from those teams? There's always coming on watching like their BBL fan, not watching the BBL Stride game. What can they expect from? Let's start with Derby.
I mean, we haven't played Derby yet this season, but I played against Derby last season, and they have some of the guys they had last year, and yeah, they're very, very good competitive team. Like it's the same with every team, especially in the NBL. Is that this year especially? There's no, you really don't know who's gonna do well because everyone is competitive and everyone's shown they've got crazy potential. So I really feel like these NBL teams will shock some BBL teams. And because like, the competition and the level is so high this year in the NBL.
Apologies, Eddie, a bad pass. I'd say, tell you about Derby. Obviously, I haven't played, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's like you said,
yeah.
you still made something out of it. That's straight to hear. Are there any ties that attach your imagination? So you obviously got Glasgow versus Reading, which is obviously a long journey for Glasgow. Got Derby, Solent, and all NBL. Cheshire hosts Hemel. I think that's quite intriguing. And then I think that's a lot there. Yeah. Any vote, Josh? What are your thoughts on the draw for the NBL perspective, or even BBL perspective?
Honestly, I mean, I think you know, I think if you're not watching BBR, I think now's a great time to be watching it because it's very competitive and it's very entertaining as well. Um, I think probably one of the games I probably look forward to watching is probably the Hemel Phoenix one. Obviously, looking at Hemel, we actually haven't been fortunate enough to play them yet, but they look really good. They look really interesting, and I think a team like Cheshire Phoenix, an explosive team with a good backcourt, I think it's going to be tough. So that's going to be a game I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah, that's what I penciled down. One I'd love to watch if it's. I hope they're not all clashing. Sometimes they do. They always put them at the same time.
Yeah,
I think the import players, Hexham versus Williams and Podium, I think that's going to be a mouth-watering matchup. And I think Hemel, I don't know about you two guys, but I feel like Hemel have definitely looked at, say, at Solent and thought, what can we do to match them by recruiting ex-Solent Teo? They're looking to be a bit more defensive, sharp. So yeah, definitely to be a good one. I feel for Reading, though, that long journey to Glasgow, that's going to be a long journey, and hopefully they are a fit squad.
yeah.
Flynn, any other ties caught your eye? We've got Surrey, Thames Valley Cavaliers. You've got a potential of all NBL quarter-final if they surpass that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Surrey Thames Valley game, I reckon, will be really entertaining. Thames Valley, like last year, have a great team, but Surrey again, they're a known BBL team with great players. So I'm not sure. The game Derby and Solent, that would be a good game. Having played Solent already and
Yeah.
just getting an understand of how deep their team is crazy. When we were playing them, they'd sub off one guy, bring on another person, another player, and it's like the level doesn't drop for them. It might get better. Like their team is so good 1 through 12 that they're definitely one of the NBL teams that I think will shock some BBL teams 100%.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Josh, you were nodding ahead to Solent. What was it about Solent that makes them the depth? Talk a bit about the depth of Solent. So.
The depth, yeah, obviously, as Flynn said, the depth is ridiculous. And I think it reflects, their chemistry as well. Because I think it's one thing having good players on a team, but to be able to trust, your 12th man to come in and do the job well, I think reflects the chemistry of the team as well. And especially the fact that I think, when you play against them, their defenses are going to string, so for you to be on a bench for say 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and to come on and then to play that intense defense, it's hard to do. So you really have to give the bench some props to do that.
I know they don't let up, do they? Solent. I mean, I was looking tonight, and I've noticed on a few players' Instas, but they couldn't get a game this weekend, but they got off to Bristol this evening, playing behind those doors friendly by the looks of things. So they're definitely gearing up for their BBL trophy return. I think it's quite funny how it's correlated. So you've got the top 4 teams, the first 4 in the top bracket, top 4 probably will be the 3 out of top 4 teams in the BBL, but the bottom 4 ties contain probably 3 of the top 4 of the NBL. So it'll be interesting to see if it's the outer edges of both brackets, but get away. But yeah, Josh, I echo what you're saying. The BBL's never looked stronger in recent years, and I think it's only a mouthful. I think the Plymouth Sharks seem to be really good. Got some NBL interest there. You got Jody Campbell, Nick Lewis on Sheffield, but you also got Elliot Sense on Plymouth. Worcester, Manchester would be good. Manchester definitely not the same team they were last season, who sort of went beaten the whole season. I mean, obviously Surrey, Thames Valley Cavaliers. That's like the Martown Mucklemore derby. Flint, what you probably played against Martown a few times over last season. What's it about his game that made Surrey sort of promote him to BBL?
Well, he's been killing NBL Division 1 for years now. He's definitely earned his spot on a BBL team. Having played him last time, it's just with his size and his versatility, he can do pretty much everything. He's a great addition to a BBL team, and I feel like he's definitely a BBL caliber player. He like I said, definitely deserves to be playing in the BBL. Last year, he gave us a lot of problems just because of his size. He can attack when a smaller person's guarding him. He can use his size to go by them, and then if a slower big was to switch onto him, then he's quick enough to go past him. He's a matchup nightmare. So he's definitely a BBL caliber player, and has definitely earned his spot.
And obviously we talked about the Lynch Trophy just before this, and one player who did well on that, Evan Walsh, source on Surrey's roster. So that's going to be good to see how he'll play against TBC. Obviously playing for Oaklands before that. And what I've loved about the BBL is how the amount of home international players playing up. You got Hamilton and all the rest there. So I think it's going to be a great tournament. I'd love to get your opinions on the NBL, both of you. I think the NBL's got a lot of BBL caliber players. Who are some of the players who maybe don't get the recognition, but maybe, if their rosters are a bit deeper, could be in the BBL?
Very tough.
Yeah.
Are we talking about teams who could play in the BBL, or players from teams who should?
Players
teams,
specifically,
actually. Players or teams, I think. Yeah.
I definitely, like I said in the last question, I definitely think Solent could be a BBL team with the depth that they have. In terms of players, I think Malcolm Smith
let me start up
from Derby.
Maybe like Mikey Williams and Greg Polian, sort of they could probably do that step up, 100%. Possibly.
100%.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I played Mike Williams last year, and he's tough. He's definitely a BBL player. He could definitely play in the BBL. Malcolm Smith.
I think from those teams there, I think maybe the talk or the highlights. I think he will be one of those players who does the highlights. Like so, his shooting is like 360 at the rim, makes those shots. I think those are some qualities maybe the BBL scouts, if they're watching this, should pay attention to. Any other
I think
guys?
Also, I think probably looking at Loughborough. I know you guys have played them already, but Carl Jimenez, I think he's a really good player. I think as a point guard, I think it's enjoyable watching him play because I think he had 2 triple doubles already. Like he kind of affects the game in kind of all the areas. So I think any BBL team needs a good point guard that is just gonna do all of the good things. He's gonna rebound, he's gonna give you good assists, and he's a bit flashy with it as well. He also is a bit flashy with it. So he's a nice PG. I think he could definitely play in the BBL.
We might actually see him because he's obviously part of that partnership with Leicester, where he has played in Leicester a few times.
Yeah.
And You
Mm.
mentioned triple doubles, and I think he's averaging like 14 assists, something crazy. Like I was looking like
Yeah,
he's
It's
looking at the third and fourth place.
ridiculous.
yeah,
Their assists combined, they matches. It's like he's a league of his own in terms
Yeah,
of the dimes.
he's
Uh,
ridiculous.
yeah, I thought we haven't really talked about Reading. As obviously they're in there as well. What and they're a localish side to you guys, so maybe if you've not even played, you might have on the radar. What do Glasgow expect from Reading?
I think Reading, obviously, we haven't played them yet. Just from watching them play, I think you're just gonna expect everyone knows a really well coached team. I think they execute their plays really good. And with depth as well, they use a lot of their young players. Because obviously, Reading wants to compete in the EABL, so I think a lot of their players are able to compete in Division One, and they're good as well. So, I think you can expect a lot of youth, so they're going to be excited to play. But also at the same time, with that youth, they're going to be very well coached.
And I
yeah. I
think
was
they
gonna say
showed William.
they could bring
Yeah, Carol
intensity.
Flynn.
No, I was just gonna say that they play with a similar intensity to us. With it, they just go out and play and bring intensity and energy to the game. So 100%.
Yeah, and I think Leo Francis has been. I think he gets a bit underappreciated times. I think he's someone who could mix up on the BBL roster. You've got Reese Pinnock, who I would say like
Reese is tough.
Reese's
He's
turf. Yeah, and
tough.
I think one of the biggest reasons why we've seen Carl do so well is because he's not Reese's shadow
Because Reese
anymore.
did
He's
that
able to
last
have
year.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Reese
Yeah,
did all that last year. He
exactly.
did triple doubles, assist. Yeah, and
I
then they
think.
also got O'Shea, and I think he's to be another one of some of the BBL fix highlights or hoop six highlights. He's sort of flashy shooter. And I think that's what I love about the BBL trophy because I think in British basketball circles we're all very stubborn, if you like, of what we like. I'm no different, NBL focused, but I do love the other bits. But we do have this attitude where you follow one predominantly. You either follow the NBA, follow the BBL, follow the NBL. But I think the BBL trophy is a great way to unite people. As long as I don't do any tweets that upset BBL fans, apologies for any of those go out. But got to keep my professional head on. Yeah, I think it's a great tournament. It should be really good to watch. I really appreciate you both coming on. Last thing, just thought maybe say a bit about your game before we go. For people watching who may not see you guys play, you've only played one game in the NBL each. DL Lynch was a minute ago or so. What are the key battles do you think we'll see if it's not too scrappy? What are the sort of matchups you think will be the ones that will be big on the screen tomorrow? I'll start with you, Josh.
um, specifically, looking at a team like Barking, they've got, anyone can be a threat on their team. And I think it can be anybody's night. And I think the most important thing is just gonna be, locking up on everyone, and not disregarding anybody because, you leave someone open for a minute and you disregard them and, they have the game in their hands all of a sudden. So I think we're just going in and, as I said, we're going to focus on our game plan, make sure we execute, and really treat everybody like they average 20 points because you can't let anybody try and do something.
Flynn, what sort of matchups do you think will be the most interesting to watch or have the most intrigued in terms of winning the game or where the key matchups will be?
Yeah, similar to what Josh said. Just we have to respect after having played them. We have to respect everyone. We predominantly want to focus on what we've been going through in training, and we want to, after watching the game that we played against them, we want to do similar things that we thought helped lead us to the win. Um, they have some cool guys, and we just want to focus on bringing the energy and competitiveness and not respecting anyone.
I think that's fair to say. It's going to be a really interesting battle. I'm looking for an explosive end-to-end game, like you say. The rebounds are important. I think also maybe the perimeter shooting for what we see from both guys, and then whoever gets these second chance points, because it might be a little bit rusty here or there, but like you say, the balls will be really important. Obviously, everyone tune into YouTube tomorrow to watch on the Essex Rebels page. But also, as it's still locked down, work from home, I've got time to burn. So I'm going to start my own YouTube channel too, and I'll do breakdown of BBL trophy draw. That'll be coming on Sunday, hopefully. My video editing skills don't make it take too long, but I'll sort of do breakdowns of all the teams so you learn a bit more, because I feel it's a great trophy from NBL to learn more about BBL teams who are not watching it. Like Josh says, you need to watch BBL. It's the best it's been for work. You've got ex-NBL players like Liggins. Might have Mullins back now. Congratulations for he's watching. I think it's had a new child yesterday or today. And you also got some really top international players too. And then also, these two just testified, the NBL's got a lot of depth and talent too. I'll post the links when they go down. And also post a link for this game. Thanks, lads, for being on this evening. I know you've got a big game tomorrow. I'll be watching and cheering you both on. Take care, stay safe, and chat soon, guys.
Appreciate it. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Chris. See you tomorrow. Yeah.